Hey, it's Jerry at the Fledge. Welcome to another episode of Every Damn Day. And today on the show, we have our new friend Autumn from I didn't ask you, are you in East Lansing right now?
Technically, but I'm always Lansing girl, so.
Oh, it's all the same, right?
Right,
The
exactly.
Lansing area at least. So how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I had some banana bread and strawberries, and I'm ready to talk to you. So we're good.
Is that what you wake up to every day? Banana bread and strawberries?
No, my mom actually made banana bread, so I was like, can't let that go to waste.
Did you go home for Thanksgiving? Or actually, I don't know where home is. We don't know you yet.
I like visited it, kind of some social distancing ideas. But no, she dropped it off to me the other day, and she was like, "Take this. I'm not gonna eat it," and I was like, "I'll eat it." So
Nice.
yeah.
So, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and a little bit about the project that you're working on, your company?
Yeah.
So,
My name's Autumn Hopkins, Lansing, born and raised, but in East Lansing for school. I started a little business called Orally Gallery about 2016. It's inspired of my grandma who passed away that year. And she taught me how to do art and like constantly tried to inspire me and to be creative. So I thought, what better person than my grandma to name it after and do it for? Her name is Oralie, Oralie, but I named it after the song, which is what she was named after as well. So I've continued to do that and just constantly grow it. Within the past year, it's become a lot bigger than it was because I was so focused with school and other work. But this year has really changed for me. And so I've been doing a lot of things like an interview with you and other events as well. But I'm just trying to get it to become something bigger, like I've been wanting it to. So,
do you do you find a lot of challenges during COVID in trying to grow your business? I mean, it's a weird year, right?
yeah. I actually got to know the Artist Umbrella Group 2 months prior. Well, joined it 2 months prior to the lockdown or the quarantine. And so, like, because of them, I've constantly been able to kind of keep it going. They've found ways to support me and also get my name out there still and do events. So that's helped like a ton. And then I've also joined Opportunity Arts, which is an amazing group that have helped me find opportunities as well. I think without that, I wouldn't have pushed myself this year. I think I would have gotten discouraged right in the beginning of quarantine because I thought there's no possible way to make money as an artist. But it's really, I think 2020 has changed in a beneficial way, even though there's a lot of tragedy as well. Like, I think I wouldn't have pushed myself so hard if it wasn't for like what happened, I guess, if that makes sense. So 2020 actually been like a good year for me, which is surprising with everything going on.
So you've created a bunch of questions for me.
Okay.
So first of all, you were born and raised in Lansing?
Yeah, Sparrow Hospital. So yeah.
It's right there. It's a block and a half away.
Yep.
I like to brag. I live a block and a half away from the hospital that I was born in, which is the Ingham Medical Center, or now it's McLaren. And I graduated high school a block and a half away from where I work. So you were born in Sparrow. Where'd you graduate high school?
Eastern.
All right, another Quaker.
Yep.
So, and you are currently at MSU.
Yes.
So what do you study? What year are you in? All those things.
So I'm technically a fifth year senior. I study studio art, so I'm getting my Bachelor of Fine Arts in painting and studio art. So it's been a really opening experience for me. I wouldn't have gone if it wasn't for the financial aid that I was able to receive. I think I would have either not gone to college or maybe taken a few classes because of, it's hard when you're born in poverty kind of and then trying to get out of that stigma. So it's definitely helped like a ton. I've learned so much since being there, but I'm definitely ready to graduate. It's been 5 years. So, yeah.
So, how long have you wanted to be an artist? I mean, you started your company. I don't know when you graduated high school, but you're a fifth year senior. So maybe in your freshman year or something?
Yeah. So I started it freshman year of college. I graduated 2016. My grandmother passed away that December. And so I was halfway through my freshman year. And at first, I had come up with the idea of it, but I didn't really actually do it probably that summer. I think it was hard because when she did pass away, there was a lot of healing and processing for me to do at the time. But I already knew I wanted to be an artist, like pretty much when I was like straight out of the womb. Like my mom said that I was drawing like not stick figures; they were like full-bodied people. They may not have been good, but the progress is there. So ever since then, I've just continually grown because of her. My grandmother has helped me a ton. I've just like my parents have pushed me, which is very rare to find parents that like push something that might not make money. My mom constantly like pushes me to this day. So yeah, it's been a beginning, like from the beginning. Even in high school, I was like, I want to run a business, and then I decided to make it happen when my grandma passed away because I feel like it kind of like gave me that push of like, this is what she would have wanted for you. So like that's where the push came in.
I meet artists all the time who spend 20 years being an artist and never think to form an LLC. You formed an LLC, right?
It's actually happening this January.
Oh, okay. But you made it a business. You recognized it as a business, like right from the start of college.
Mm-hmm.
What inspired you to do that? What made you think in those terms? Because a lot of people will want to, I'm pure in my art and it's not for the money or whatever. But then that's why they're called starving artists sometimes, right?
Yeah, which I still am. But I think I decided to do it because I wanted it to be taken seriously. And also I wanted to produce my art so people could have like a print that I've made that's affordable for them to have in their home. So more like affordable access to art within people's like lives. So that's why for a little bit there I was having my art really cheap, and then more recently I've had it where like the prints and like the produced things are more affordable, but then my actual art is obviously pricier because I've gone in this battle of like valuing myself and my art. It's been a process and trying to figure that out. So that's what I'm still trying to figure out. But I decided to do it that way, but I still do have my studio like in school they want you to do like gallery settings and like stuff like that. So I still have that side of me, which is where I bring in more of like my mixed media and my like deeper issues that I don't put in like my business per se. And I would like to do gallery showings and be also part of that world as well. But I like the idea of interacting with people and seeing their smile when they like find something that's cute and they want to put it up in their room or something like that. So that's what I've done that way.
And, I do want to mention at this point that we will put links to your pages and your website and all of that. There's already a web site referenced in the YouTube description.
Nice.
So people can find you. What do you think that going to MSU, like MSU, I think you're the second person that has studied fine arts that I've had on the show in the last couple of months. And I would have never thought. I mean, I know that we have the Broad and we've got the that cool little art lab or something on the corner there.
And then there's the Broad Art Lab. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would have never thought that MSU was known for this, and yet there's so many artists that seem to be coming out of here.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I wasn't super aware of it either when first like signing up to go to MSU until I got there and like really saw the community and really saw the opportunities that you could have. I've definitely, as I've gone through my years at MSU and like grown with the people within, my grade or within the community, I can see like some of my teachers that start out as I think they're like assistant teachers. They start out like they get their masters and they have to teach as well. So like they'll start doing that, and then like I can see them now. Like there's this one girl, her name's Lauren. She's wasn't my teacher, but then now she's doing like little gallery showings at like Lansing Art Gallery, I believe, and then she goes to the Cedar. What's that place called?
The Cedar Street Art Collective.
Yeah. So she's been doing stuff like that and being really active in the community. And it's just cool to see like artists that I know that I've seen within my space at MSU, like branch out within the community and like make a name for themselves or like have shows. So it's definitely really, really cool. And I'm hoping that I'm able to be on that same level as her one day, but it's like inspiring in a way as well to see it and know that it's possible, but also be surrounded by constant art. I feel like growing up, I didn't see as much of that until more now of like such an artistic community that I didn't know existed. So, yeah.
Do you appreciate Lansing more? Kind of, I mean, you're in East Lansing, you're not that far away, but looking at it from a different perspective now, is Lansing different than you thought it was?
I think so, because I was telling one of the guys that works for me, or I work for at Opportunity Arts, that I thought I had to move away to like find any like opportunity, and I realized a lot more now since becoming an adult, especially. There's a lot going on here. It's just if we're doing it. Like the Artist Umbrella has definitely changed that in some ways too. Like they're doing it, they're making it happen, and I feel like a lot of people get discouraged, or they don't know where to look, or they don't. And I feel like there's a lot more community now than I feel like there ever was, or maybe I just wasn't aware of it. But it's actually really nice to know that I can stay here if I wanted to and make things happen. So
it's nice for us to know too that you can stay here, because everything we do has art touching it, right? Every single thing. Like you've got this background behind you. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
So it's a painting I made about 3-ish years ago. It was either my first or second year at MSU. We had to do something that was more abstract, and this is actually Old Town. Like an aerial map of Old Town. So like that's the Grand River, and then those are like the little businesses and stuff like that. And that's actually where I used to live. I like grew up in Old Town, which is another artistic community that I saw like grow. So I paint it, and now I have it like everywhere. At first I didn't like it, but now I've grown to love it, and I like that it's like there because it's a reminder of where I came from. So it's nice.
I love it. I love that story. I grew up by Pisano's, right? Yeah. So a little bit north west from there. I think I can't quite see where you were pointing at. I don't know the streets on there, but
Cedar, or not Cedar, Chavez, or what used to be Grand River.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Dang, right there. Right. Yeah. So like by Olympic Broil, somewhere in that.
We lived a block from Olympic Broil. You know that church in the corner?
Yep.
Yeah. So my dad actually currently lives there right now, 2 houses down from that. My grandpa owns that house. So I used to live there growing up, and then we'd walk to Olympic Broil and walk back. So yeah.
It's so nice to hear all these familiar places and names and stuff from someone I'm talking to. Mm-hmm. There's a ton of striking things that I want to ask you about. I mean, the strong community that is starting to form, and I give a big shout out to Brandon and everybody at the Artist Umbrella. A big shout out to Mike and everybody at Affiliates Art. And to hear, and I got to go back and talk to them more, because to hear you say what you said about not having to move away, and not that that's not an option, but right. Just the fact that you could stay here if you wanted to it's amazing that you feel that way. And I'm so happy to hear you say that it's even an option.
Yeah.
Because I think we've come a long way from like when I was a kid, everybody wanted to move away from Lansing. And now there's just a ton of reasons to stay. So nice to hear
Exactly.
you say that, and shout out to Artist Umbrella and Opportunity Arts. You sent me a bio when we were first communicating, and you talked about the mental health. I don't know what the word was that you used, that you injected or something into your studio, into your
Yeah.
work. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I struggle with ADHD, depression, and anxiety. And my entire family, well, most of my family have ADHD, and I'm sure a range of other things that just haven't been really diagnosed. And I'm the oldest of 10 siblings. So there's a lot going on there. There's a lot of dynamics. And I have issues within certain people of my family, and that's caused a lot of stress and more, just mental stress and stuff like that. So I'm open about talking about it because I feel like we have to, and I feel like it's brushed off a lot within my family, but also people around me. So when I work on my studio work for MSU, I kind of experience it as like a journaling experience. So lately I've been like burning, ripping, spraying, writing, scratching, whatever I'm feeling, and I'll do it on my canvas. But I'll also like bring up like issues within my family. So I'm doing a piece about the Hopkins men and like how I feel about that. And then I've done a piece about trying to think what else, my siblings, because like I'm very protective over them, and all sorts of things like that. And so I constantly am talking to my siblings about those things, but even if they're younger, but like it's good to start the conversation about maybe what these emotions are feeling. It's valid, but like what are ways we can like figure it out. So I'm very open about talking about what's going on in life and in your mind. I've struggled throughout the years figuring it out, especially after my grandma died. I had to like figure that out on my own. And then going to school with ADHD, I failed a lot of my classes because I just didn't know how to do it. So I've come a long way with that. But I would like to, in the future, maybe come up with courses or classes to figure out how to journal your feelings onto like a canvas or art, because I feel like it's very therapeutic and like such a good thing to do. So I'm just overall very open about it. In my artwork, like I don't hide anything. So like my goal is to have my show, which we have when we graduate, we get to put like our work up in a show. And I kind of want like to invite or send the link to people within my family that I have issues with and be like, hey, and like so they can see like my feelings right there. Like it's kind of a savage response, but like it's like a healing process for me.
So every once in a while we get the crowd coming in, and I just want to put up what Fonda Brewer, she is a big supporter of the Fledge, and she just applauds you. And I was going to say something very similar, that, we got to talk about this stuff. I think on the show yesterday, not the show yesterday, the day before, we talked a lot about it. And, we always look at it like it's some negative thing, or it's got this stigma with it. And we're all going through it, man. I get tears in my eyes throughout the day. Some days I don't want to get out of bed. And I really appreciate you kind of putting that out there. And people are stronger when they show their vulnerability. And to show that a little bit is amazing. But I really want to talk about 10 siblings. You're the big sister. Oh my God, you got a lot to make sure you do right.
Yeah.
Is that a lot of pressure?
Yeah. I think I handle it decently well. At least they all still love me. But they're all from like, I only share one sibling that has the same mom and dad. So all of them are all from different moms, technically, with my dad, and then 2 of them are from different dad. And then 2 of them aren't related to me at all. They're my step siblings, but I claim them like 100% because like I grew up with them, so they're mine. So I'm very like big sister vibes. Like I'll protect them. Like when they've been in situations and they've called me, I came over and kicked out whoever I need to kick out. Like it doesn't matter. I'm tiny, but I'll do it. So yeah, I'm very protective and a lot, but I wouldn't change it. So
When you first signed up for the show and I didn't know you that much, I thought maybe we'd talk about your gallery a little bit and what you're trying to do and all of that. But man, you are amazing. It's I mean, just what an amazing story, because you really hit the nail on the head when you talk about parents don't really support the artists. Let's like, it could be masculinity. No son of mine's going to be an artist, or somebody saying you're never going to make money. I'm sure you've heard that before, but to have that support, what a great family. And then you being, I wouldn't say you're the patriarch per se, or the matriarch per se. Sorry.
No, you're good.
But you will be. And what a great example to have somebody. I know that neighborhood's not an easy place to get out of. And poverty steals our genius.
Yeah.
And you didn't let it happen.
No, definitely. There's a lot of friends, especially I've seen, that like let that get to them, or everyone just gets really discouraged really fast. And it's easy to, especially when you don't really have like the resources. So like the fact that I was able to go to MSU really changed things for me, because I don't think I would have been able to do some of the things I was able to do. I think I would have eventually, but not as quickly. So like it's crazy just how much like you can be your own enemy, because there's many times where I was like, I'm not doing this anymore, like I give up. But like I obviously haven't, but it's been close.
Yeah, that's so insightful of you to recognize that self-sabotage happens constantly to people, and there's always a crutch kind of to lean back on, and not a crutch that helps, but a crutch that can be discouraging. You're amazing. Is there something you do every damn day that kind of pushes this forward, that whether it's the journaling or some of the things you've talked about, or
I think what I do is I just force myself to be creative of some sort, because I do it to push myself, because I know that I'll self-sabotage, or I have ADHD, so I'll get distracted, so I'll like watch TV versus do something else. So that pressure and pushing myself to be creative, and then surrounding myself by people that push me too. So like my fiance pushes me, my roommate pushes me, my aunt, who is also very talented and also an artist within the area, she pushes me. So just surrounding myself with people, and then also not forcing myself, but encouraging myself to be creative really helps me every day. And my siblings, like I said, like I want to be an inspiration for them to know that they can do what they want to do. So I kind of like want to show that for them. So they push me every day, even if they're not telling me, like it's like in the back of my head. So yeah.
So every show we kind of daisy chain them together. So I had Kaylee on the show, who has a kombucha company, and she wants to know what inspires you, but I sort of feel like we answered that. But is there anything you want to say in that direction, or anything you want to add?
Yeah, I guess the number one thing that inspires me to keep going would have to be my family, and then just to keep that dream within the back of my head, even if, so I told myself, like, even if I'm just a server and I'm doing this as a side job, like, so be it. Like, I think I have to always create, because if I don't, then I feel like I just lost like a huge chunk of myself. So that's something that I always want to do. So when people would ask me like, how are you going to make money? And I told them, well, worst comes to worst, I'm a server and I'm just making art on the side. Like, I would be okay with that. And so that's just what's pushed me, is like, don't lose that part of yourself and show your siblings like what you can do. So I think those are the main two factors of what inspires me every day.
Did you have like teachers that motivated you at Eastern? Like I have a vision that Eastern doesn't even have an art program anymore.
It does. My art teacher, Mr. Simon, he actually, I think he went to MSU. I think he said too, but he used to be in like the military or army or something. So he's a very like tough guy, which you wouldn't expect as an art teacher. But like I pushed myself to like break down his barriers and like have him love me. So eventually he did. Like I was one of his favorite students. At least I like to think. So he pushed me a lot because he would give me extra assignments that like other people weren't doing. So he really helped. He was like that tough love kind of thing. Like, I know you can do it, so do it. And like, you have by this time to do it kind of thing. And then I've had other teachers too that like I would do like decorations for like I think one of my senior events or something like that. And like, they'll push me to like, Autumn, you're doing this or like whatever. So I think I enjoyed my time at Eastern. I feel like some people have different perspectives, but like, I don't know. There was no like cliques really. At least I didn't think so. I always had like a good time. I was friends with everyone really in my class. I don't know. I had a really good time. And I feel like it gets a lot of stigma for being, like a public inner city school. But like some of the best people I've met have been through high school. So I'm not sure. Yeah. I loved it. So
I use a phrase very often that Lansing raised me, and it symbolizes my family, my mentors, my teachers, my coaches. Do you think Lansing raised you?
Yeah, I never really thought about it like that, but yeah, definitely. Because every person that has helped me throughout the way have been from Lansing or within my community. So I feel like, yeah, in a way it has, definitely.
You're doing really good in this interview because Fonda wants to know if you offer any painting classes or anything like that.
I have not, but some people have been telling me that I should do some classes, like whether it's like the journaling experience or just like DIYs that I do for my gifts and stuff. So I definitely feel like I should think of that more and maybe make that a thing with people asking me so much. But I'd like
could you tell us a little bit about, because I think you do a lot of custom work, is that right?
Yeah.
But is that like if I wanted a particular painting of my family or something like that, how does that work?
So it partially depends on what I'm doing within that time. So right now I'm doing more of like I digitally draw you like on my Procreate app. So I've been doing like digital drawings of families and pets, which actually have gotten me some money from that. But I have done painting portraits of people before. It's just a little harder and it takes more time. But like I kind of just do mostly whatever people want. Brandon from Artist Umbrella, he constantly is asking me to paint not the craziest things, but like, just like different. He's like pushing me constantly. Like I think he wanted me to do one of like a kid's head, and like you could see the brain and the skull and the like different layers, and I was like, okay, like sure. So like there's a lot of different things that I feel like I can try to do. I like to push myself. I'm not super perfect in everything, so don't expect it to be perfect, but I'm open to all sorts of ideas.
But art is art, right? There's not a perfect in art.
True.
So getting on to the show for tomorrow, we've got a young lady. I think she's 12 years old. Her name is Nia, and she is a homeless advocate. She does events, like we had a big trick or treating, well, not just the homeless, I guess, because she got like 1,000 costumes to give out to people the day before Halloween. So what question would you like to ask her?
Well, knowing that I have 9 siblings, and they're all young, what are like ways like they could participate into doing that? Because I feel like they can't do a lot right now with the pandemic. So if maybe there's ways that like they can do some stuff, I'd love to send them like links or get them motivated, do something other than just video games. Not that that's a problem, but something within the community and make them feel good internally.
So I'm going to flip that question on you. What's something you think we could do, especially us older people who are impacting younger people, or older artists that have siblings like you? What's something you can do to inspire the art in all of us?
Oh goodness. I guess just like have that mindset of doing something creative. So like I know a lot of people get discouraged or like I'm not good at art, so that's not my cup of tea. But it's like you don't have to be like drawing like a perfect portrait of a person. It's maybe just like maybe buying something from Michael's and then painting on it, and then like now I have this piece of art I can use within my home. So like, and then actively having your siblings. Right now it's hard because we're in a pandemic, but maybe they could Zoom call. But you could like do like a little event of like having your siblings join you. I make my siblings Christmas gifts every year, so maybe something like that would get them like in a community setting. But just pushing yourself to be creative in any sort of way. Like it could mean so many things, whether it's writing or painting or whatever you want to do. But trying to keep that, because people get so focused on like, what society expects, I guess, or your day-to-day job. So
well, they weren't good at video games when they first started either, right?
True.
So I think you're amazing. I think that the fact that you're looking at this as an entrepreneurial journey with your creative journey is so amazing. And then your story about Lansing, everyone that watches the show is going to love that. So we're coming near the end here. And at the end, I always ask the guest, is there something you want to take us out with? Like, definitely go to your website and buy a Christmas ornament. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I like my links will be, you said it's in the comments or the bio. Otherwise, if you look up on Instagram, online, or just on Facebook, Orly Gallery, if you just look up www.orlygallery.com, my links are there as well, everywhere, to be honest. And just I have all sorts of stuff, whether you want to do a commission, or whether you just want to buy an ornament or a print or whatever you want. But you should definitely check me out. I would love it.
All right. So I think you're amazing. Take us out with one more thing. Just tell us one little advice, something like that, and we'll be done.
Be creative every day and inspire the people around you.
You're amazing.
Thank you.